What's up, guys? 6 Pound Burrito here, and welcome to Tyranny, a story-driven game where apparently your decisions make an impact, and I hope it's true. I hope they really do make an impact. If I can, I'm gonna be a tyrannical leader for sure. I mean, it's called tyranny for a reason, right? Anyway, I forgot I gotta change something. Anyway, yeah, if I can, I'm gonna be a tyrannical sort of leader in this game. Oh, permadeath, huh? Anyway, new game. What is this? Trial of Iron is enabled. Only one save slot is permitted. If your party is defeated, the game ends. Save was last match. Start again. Oh. Okay. Requires minimum micromanagement and easily forgives mistakes in combat. Enemies receive a penalty to no sides. Hard half of the damn. Alright, let's just do normal. And start this shit up. So I believe this game is turn-based. That's what it looked like anyway. And like I said, it claims to be story-driven for over 400 years.
For over 400 years. The armies of Kairos the Overlord have swept across the known world. All who stood against them fell before their might. Even the Archons, women and men of immense power, were forced to kneel, chained to the Overlord's will. Now Kairos' final conquest has come to our corner of the world, and two of the Overlord's armies compete for the honor of taking our lands. The elite disfavored, and the teeming horde of the Scarlet Chorus.
Scarlet Chorus? That sounds cool.
The voices of Nerat, spy master and archon of secrets, guides the fierce and undisciplined masses of the Scarlet Chorus. With each battle, the Scarlet Chorus grows stronger, as the defeated are given a simple choice: serve or die. Graven Ash, Archon of War and the Overlord's most loyal general, leads the disfavored. Though small in number, Kairos' ironclad legion has never met true defeat in open battle. Watching over the two generals is Tunon, the Adjudicator, Archon of Justice, eldest of Kairos' minions. Tunon brings Kairos' laws to newly conquered lands, aided by the Fatebinders, judges and executioners of the Overlord's laws. You were among the youngest of the court of Fatebinders when Kairos' armies came to our lands. How could we have known that the fate of thousands would rest in your hands?
Oh god. Character looks fat. Alright, yeah, let's go with this guy. Roll. In the Northern Empire, where you were born, men enjoy equal protections under the laws of the Overlord Kairos. In the southern lands of the tiers, only men may own or captain ships, but real estate is restricted to women. Men may lease, but durable ownership of the land in the tiers always passes to eldest daughters or sisters. Most sons enter their father's profession by their mid-teens. Those without a profession or family lands to work can find a purpose by pledging service to one of their Overlord's mighty Archons. Criminals, derelicts, and others are often conscripted into the armies of the Archons. If a child cannot forge his own skein, he will certainly find one in battle. Okay. Let's go with this color. Okay. Couple facial options. I like that one. That's good. Let's go with
moving cautiously. I won't. See that?
Alright. Let's see what sneaky is.
Flawless. You learn something every day.
Portrait. What? What does this matter? Why do I care about this? Let's go with that one, I like it. How did you join Kairos Army? Pit Fighter? Let's see, Pit Fighter, Hunter, Guild Apprentice, Noble, Scion, Diplomat, War Mage, Lawbreaker, Soldier. So this is basically our class. Not wishing to pay to feed and house you, the madam that purchased your mother sold you to the proving grounds. So any fighter that says he doesn't, others melee is given her freedom. Okay. There's a lot to read. Such. Let's do a War Mage. I like it. It sounds pretty cool. Primary expertise. Shock spells, vigor spells, atrophy spells. Frost spells, dual wielding javelin. Okay. Branch of magic focuses on granting bonuses to yourself and your allies. Shock can freely interrupt the enemies, preventing them from executing their attacks. Control lightning, magic staff dodge, +5 lore. Yeah, I like shock spells, that sounds cool. Secondary expertise. Drains the skills and attributes of your enemies, weakening their attacks and making them easier to kill. Yeah, let's do it. I like atrophy. There we go. That's pretty cool. I'll take that. Is this in a banner? Jesus. Okay. Some interesting depictions in here, or pictures. What? 12? Why 12? I think I like... That one's pretty cool. That one's kinda cool too. Let's see, a heart? Really? Let's do this one. The Great Burrito. Let's do. Wait, it's mental here. Pick up on clues, increase spell strength as well as magic defense. Resolved. Character's ability to endure physical and mental challenges. Endurance, will, magic defense, afflictions. Shows that up everyone. So this is basically like another, I don't know, pretty in-depth RPG it looks like. So here's my vitality. Yeah, let's do that. All right, that's better. I like that. Okay, magic staff. Subterfuge, detect unseen. $35. There we go. I like that. Actually, I want to do this. I feel like I'm gonna use more lightning than atrophy. So yeah. Next, Conquest option will allow you to play through Conquest of the Tears, choosing how your character was involved in the invasion. Most control over the starting say the game. Okay, Conquest. Yeah, let's do that. The Great Burrito.
All the world has fallen to Kairos, and now the Overlord's eye is on the Tears, our home. The last corner of the world free of Kairos' reign. Two armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, march south from the Northern Empire, the last realm to fall to Kairos a century prior.
Okay.
In the early days of 428, Kairos' armies arrive at the Gates of Judgment, the mountainous border that we Tearsmen so long believed unassailable. Unable to agree on a unified plan of defense, the various leaders of the Tears sit and wait for each other to deal with the conquerors, until it's too late.
Okay. Conquest. During the Conquest, you will decide your character's actions during Kairos' invasion of the Tears, shaping the world through which you will adventure over the course of the game. Each choice you make affects your character and how major factions of the Tears respond to you. Your decisions matter. Choose wisely. Good. That sounds like an interesting game. The bastard city stood on the northern border between Kairos' empire and Tears. Built upon a natural harbor at the crossroads between realms, the city was a nexus of commerce. To the Tears, it was the center of all wealth. To a northerner, it was little more than a backwater trading post. Its symbolic status as a gateway to the continent made it a natural first target in Kairos' military conquest. Circumstances were ideal for you to prove your worth as a soldier in Kairos' armies. Taking the city would send a message to the rest of the Tears. Kairos will is insurmountable. Select a token on the map to begin Gates of Judgment. In the first major engagement of the war, Kairos' armies crossed the mountains and established a foothold. Okay. Join the battle along the Scarlet Course. Let's do that. The armies of Kairos took the battle to the Gates of Judgment, trumpeting the opening call of the conquest of the Tears. The two armies, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, brought their distinctive sense of order and chaos to the assault. You went to the battle alongside the army whose approach best suited your strengths. Seeing shield to shield with Kairos' ironclad elite. Okay. He caught the mercenary army unprepared for the mania and disorder of the Scarlet Chorus. Your forces overwhelmed the Tears' defenses in a few short hours, hacking and burning their way into the continent. Any mercenaries who survived the battle found themselves initiated into the Scarlet Chorus, tortured by the ruthless interrogators, or made the sport of competition as the army marched ruthlessly forward. Nice. Damn. Okay, so you found a way to feed Kairos' armies in enemy territory. To judge the enemy, feeding the host. Against the most optimistic projections, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus made short work of the local defenses. They did so well that the armies quickly outpaced their supply caravans. Troops were plentiful, but food was scarce. You only had time to execute one plan to secure provisions. Authorized Disfavored troops to confiscate food and supplies from the traveling merchant caravans. The Tears had already spent ignorant centuries gliding themselves outside. The law authorized the Scarlet Chorus to send their horde out to pillage from farms and villages, spreading the infamy of Kairos' army. Prepared the Tears for the reality of the impending conquest. Next. Scarlet Chorus divided up the outlying farms and villages among their gangs and set out to collect provisions. Though they returned with the wagons laden with supplies, the terror and destruction sowed in their path boosted morale and ensured that everyone from the Bastard City to Stalwart knew their name. Taking the Bastard City. Armies of Kairos massed around the Bastard City, the first bastion of the Tears to fall. Both armies longed to storm the walled outpost. The Scarlet Chorus howling for plunder, and Disfavored forming an unbreakable shield wall. Your prowess on the field of battle had carried them this far, but there was one more step before total victory. Both the armies had inspired schemes to take the Bastard City, which you supported. Join the Disfavored vanguard in a direct assault upon the city gates. No fortification would stand before the unstoppable legion. Join the Scarlet Chorus in setting fire to the city and blocking the gates. The defenders would surrender or burn. You lead a mixed band of Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus scouts over the city walls to sabotage its defenses. Burn the city. It was passing strange to barricade the very gates you sought to cross, but it all made sense when the fires began. Scarlet Chorus sent a constant rain of flaming arrows over the walls of the Bastard City, plague that lasted through long days and tireless nights. By the end, the blaze was too much for the city defenders to contain. Citizens crowded at the gates, pleading to be freed from their smoldering city. You and your army were happy to oblige them. When the gates opened, they opened from inside. Interesting. You may choose only one of these locations. Bastard City settled into a new state of normalcy when every tower displaying Kairos' banner. Your name was whispered alongside rumors of decorated career to come. Hey, Cheyenne, you just got off work. Well, good to see you could make it. Name was whispered. Oh yeah. The armies divided into two fronts and migrated south. Tunon sent word that you were to join the next frontier of Kairos' conquest, either as judge and overseer of the settlement of Leviathan's Crossing, or as a war advisor with the armies advancing into the realm of Apex. So I can be a judge and overseer at the settlement of Leviathan's Crossing? Deposits of iron made the settlement of Lethians crossing a strategic war asset. Kairos sent the forge-bound smith mages of exceptional skill to establish a flow of weaponry. Tunon, the adjudicator, sent one of his fate binders to ensure the enforcement of Kairos' law. Troops of the mountain realm of Apex stood idle in the safety of the valley, biding their times as the neighbors of the bastard tier fell. In the second year of war, a joint force of the Destroyer and Scarlet Chorus crossed over the mountains to take control of the tier's central valley. Or as a war advisor in the Apex. Let's go to the Apex. I like that. Well, good. I'm glad I can make your days better. Me making your days better makes my day better. If that makes sense. Year 2 of Kairos Conquest. Man, this conquest is pretty long. Ooh, excuse me. The mountain nation of Apex, ruled for generations by the queens of House Vendrian, stood at the heart of the tiers. No army could bypass the landlocked realm without leaving their flank exposed to attack. By the second year of the war, Disfavored and Scarlet Corps had pushed deep into the tiers. Elements of both armies were dispatched to conquer Apex. Tunon assigned you to accompany them, tasked with bringing Kairos' law to the territory as well as keeping an eye on both armies. Okay, so we can... The Battle of Edgering Pass. The Archon of Stone's assault was perhaps too successful. New school of mages presented problems and opportunities. Let's go with mages. School of water mages, loyal to their tiersmen, posed a substantial threat that Disfavored wished to annihilate in the school, while Scarlet Corps is instead capturing the mages, wishing to learn of their craft. Yeah, let's capture the mages. Though countless lives were lost taking the mages into custody, the Scarlet Corps praised your name as they dragged the beaten elders of the school to the Voices of Nerat's tent. As a wave of screams and incoherent pleas reached their crescendo, the Scarlet Corps soldiers outside cheered for their Archon. The Disfavored adjourned to their camp in grim silence, claiming the chorus lacked the will and desire to fully wipe out the traces of the enemy school. Oh. Poor communication led to the gruesome death of Disfavored scouts, or Kairos' forces debated over the fate of an enemy captain. Poisoning the well. Yeah, we don't want to poison the well. Hoping to break the siege, Scarlet Chorus agents poisoned the Apex water supply in secret. Days later, uninformed Disfavored scouts died of illness. Outraged by the failure of communication, the Disfavored demanded that the Chorus agents be turned over them for punishment. Kairos' forces captured and celebrated an enemy hero. The armies bickered over his fate. The Disfavored wanted him set free to convince his peers of Kairos' mercy. The Scarlet Chorus wanted him flayed and staked as an example. Execute the captain. His remains fashioned to a terrifying display. Fear was the Scarlet Corps' most compelling weapon, and you knew that its impact would resonate across the Apex army. All of those who surrendered or cooperated would be treated with deserving respect as subjects of the Kairos' peace. Hey, Jettler, hello and welcome. Scrawny, obnoxious freshman here. Alright. Against the better wishes of tradition, mercy, or even good taste, you had the enemy captain drawn and quartered, by a team of enthusiastic Scarlet Corps butchers. Damn. Had him torn to pieces. Once the prisoner was disassembled, the butchers took great pleasure in reassembling his parts with a stitching, cloth, and wooden poles, fashioning a crude totem of disorder. They mounted him on a hillside where the warning of grim spectacle haunted all who passed. Damn, that's brutal. The fall of Apex. Days of watching their captain's body rot in the sun weakened the resolve of Apex defenders. They reached out to Kairos' forces and sued for peace, hesitant that such an arrangement would be honored given the brutality of your conquest. How did you orchestrate the surrender of the enemy? Through days of meditation, you negotiated the surrender of the valley to Kairos' forces, putting an end to further bloodshed. Taunting the Queen of Apex into striking you under a banner of truce, you baited the Queen of Apex into a duel and slew her. frightening her vassals into submission. Alright. Nice change of pace that people say amazing and don't ignore the I mean, I try to read the chat as much as I can now. Lately, there hasn't been a whole lot of conversation in the chat, just because there hasn't been a lot of the same people here, which is totally fine. I'm happy to have anybody. I mean, well, not necessarily anybody. Some people are pretty shitty, and you know, like trolls and fucking people like that. But otherwise, yeah, I think it's pretty nice to have anybody here, and so yeah, I'm thankful for that. I'm torn between having a moment of I can't think of the word I was gonna say. Stop the killing for a minute, or just yeah, let's do this. Your former enemies were loath to part with their lands, but they were even more reluctant to continue a war they were losing at every turn. The Tearsmen are a stubborn lot, and despite their grim situation, it still took days of discussion and diplomacy to show them the madness of tenacity. On the third day of mediation, the rulers of Apex finally submit to your terms of surrender, putting an end to the war in the valley, and freeing up Kyrus' forces to march deeper into the Tears. Azure, Vellum Citadel, or Stalwart? With its easily defended position and rich military tradition, the realm of Stalwart was the most formidable realm in the Tears. Kyrus' conquering gaze fell upon the Vellum Citadel, its treasures, its knowledge, its secrets. Kyrus dispatched the Archon of Stone to subjugate the nation of Azure. The land of Apex finally rested in the hands of Kyrus' forces. Scarlet Chorus paused to revel in victory, while the disfavored prepared for the next fight, affording themselves but an evening's rest. Kyrus' armies radiated out from the conquered citadel and worked their way across the Tears. The disfavored and Scarlet Chorus aimed to dominate as much territory as possible. In the coming year, your distinguished reputation in Kyrus military left your choice of the next destination yours to make. Well, if dominate as much territory as possible, if that's their goal, then this is the biggest territory. Let's take Stalwart. Year 3. Yes, I care about all of my viewers. Realm of Stalwart was best known for its proud army. Disciplined, courageous, and undefeated in their home soil, skill and resolve made Stalwart a military power that Kyrus' forces approached with due caution. With its southern position, Stalwart had been largely safe from war, watching for 2 years as its neighbors fell to Kyrus' forces. On the dawn of the third year of war, Kyrus' forces were finally poised to invade the Stalwart Peninsula and subdue the Tears' most vaunted army. Alright, so, marching on empty. Tragedy struck when hungry Scarlet Chorus soldiers appropriated disfavored supplies. A stinging defeat led to accusations among Kyrus' army. Contentious setback. Marching on empty. Let's just take this. After defeat at the hands of enemy defenders, the Scarlet Chorus accused the disfavored of recklessness. Disfavored claimed that the Scarlet Chorus brought too few soldiers to cover their flanks. Both armies refused to march until you gave a ruling. And what's this one here? Stalwart defenders burned their crops as they retreated, leaving the invaders little to forage. Starving, the Scarlet Chorus mob raided from the disfavored, well-maintained supply lines, incurring casualties on both sides. No, we don't want to do that. Let's do this. Lacking proof that the Scarlet Chorus recruits were negligent, you punish the disfavored commander for his failure and bring charges without and for bringing charges without evidence. Knowing the disfavored reputation for discipline, as well as the Scarlet Chorus's powers to instill fear and frenzy, you decided that the Scarlet Chorus was in the wrong. No. Graven Ash was the first who stepped forward to dispute your ruling. He argued that the Scarlet Chorus were a directionless menace, sowing chaos and disorder wherever they went. What further evidence did you need? After you politely reminded him that his opinions were inadmissible, he stormed out of the camp with a unit of soldiers and didn't return for several hours. Alright. Negative conscription. Suspicions arose when Scarlet Chorus soldiers fought under their banner of Stalwart. When an enemy commander fell captive, Kairos' armies argued over what to do with her. Alright. Armies of Kairos collaborated on the capture of an enemy leader. The Scarlet Chorus requested that she be interrogated by the Archon of Secrets. The disfavored wished to display her corpse in battle. Since the stalwart defender refused to surrender, a gesture was needed to instill fear. In Resistance soldiers were spotted fighting alongside the stalwart defenders. The voices of Nerat insisted they were spies enlisted to gauge the army's weaknesses and sow discontent. The disfavored accused the soldiers of treason and demanded bloody reprisal. Contentious armies sought your ruling on the matter. Let's go with this one. Ordered that the enemy commander be sent to the voices of Nerat for interrogation. Like so many enemy prisoners, the stalwart regent vanished inside the voices of Nerat's tent, never to be seen again. Her screams were the only evidence that she had ever passed through the camp, and those went on beyond what most considered possible. When at last she fell silent, the voices invited you inside. There was no regent to be found, only a map, which the voices had marked with hasty scrawls, marking supposed weaknesses in the enemy's defense. The disfavored carved a slow, steady path into the heart of Stalwart and surrounded the enemy's massive fortress. With the main bulk of their forces defeated, the enemy leadership retreated to their mighty fortress, content to wait out the war. The Overlord answered this impudence with an edict of storms on the peninsula, a devastating spell that would endure for as long as the cowardly hearts of the Stalwart's leaders persisted in beating. Knowing before anyone else that edict would occur, the voices of Nerat lobbied for you to deliver the mighty incantation. Aside from being given a 3-day window to read the edict, you received no other instructions. Agreeing with the wishes of the disfavored, you proclaimed the edict at once, leaving the enemy no time to react. Stalwart had ample opportunity to surrender for several years. The time for mercy was long gone. An attempt to ingratiate themselves with the people of Stalwart, the Scarlet Chorus insisted that warning be sent to the towns and villages so that people may prefer the horror about it. No, let's send this storm. Agreed with the disfavored rationale. The leaders of Stalwart had refused honorable battle, and too many disfavored lives were lost in the campaign. Since the last regent refused to leave the keep, you would let him watch as his people suffered. Without hesitation or regret, you broke the seal of Kairos' Edict of Storms and read the Overlord's incantation. Edict of Storms. The clear skies darkened as you read the final words of the edict. A flurry of wind and rain whipped through the rolling plains and craggy canyons. Hey, hello Bound, hello and welcome. Good to see you back. Tearing rocks and uprooted trees and hapless soldiers into hazardous shrapnel. Armed with a measure of foresight, you were able to remove yourself from the area before the storms grew more violent. Over time, nearby communities told of cyclones consisting of thousands of soldiers' worth of limbs, spears, armor, and skulls. What's more, the weather showed no sign of dissipating. Several units of disfavored who fought the enemy in spite of the advancing storm were caught up in the Overlord's magic. The few survivors regrouped and nursed their wounds. Their failure to topple the Solar Legion shamed them into believing the dead more fortunate. The name Stalwart fell from use. People took to calling it the Blade Grave, for the remade landscape festooned with the iron and bronze armaments of two once great legions. As Kairos' forces departed, you spared a glance back at the ruins of Stalwart, marveling at your work. You didn't have long to rest before Tunon called you into service once more. Conquest complete. Do you want to continue or erase your progress? Okay, let's continue. Wow, that was a long intro. Armor can never reduce damage below 1. Interesting. Very interesting.
The year is 431, and Kairos' invasion has shattered all major opposition in the tiers. The Younger Realms, the Bastard Tier, the Free Cities. All who defied Kairos lay broken by battle, or bowed in surrender. The two armies of the Overlord, the Disfavored and the Scarlet Chorus, now control our lands. But our will is not yet extinguished. Not entirely. In the Valley of Vendrian's Well, those of us unwilling to bow to Kairos have banded together in defiance. Violating an oath of surrender from 2 years prior, we have staged a bloody uprising, murdering the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus garrison in a midnight assault. With their main forces spread across the tiers, the Disfavored and Scarlet Chorus redeploy to Vendrian's Well to crush the resistance. But months pass with no definitive battle. As disagreement and discord paralyze the Archons, we bide our time and wait for our message of insurrection to spread across the tiers. The Overlord is not amused, and Kairos has one message for the Archons. Crush the Oathbreakers, or die. Kairos backs this threat with an edict, a magical commandment that can slay all in the valley should the order be ignored. The honor of proclaiming this edict fell to you. Sent across the mountains to Vendrian's Well, you carry the Overlord's edict to read before the Archons. As you finally make your way through the winding mountain passes into the valley, the ground trembles, and Kairos' magic seals the way behind you. You are trapped in Vendrian's Well, with Kairos' armies and the Oathbreakers. The only way to survive is to fulfill the terms of the Overlord's edict, in any way that you can.
Interesting. That is quite the statue. It looks like it's just crying blood. Fatebinder, the Great Burrito. I presume we've been expecting you. Welcome to Tyrannical. If this is your first visit to the world of Tyranny, which of these windows have you... Watch for these windows to help you. Okay, cool. Thanks. Can I talk to this bitch? Disfavored warrior clamps through gauntlet to breastplate the traditional salute. Kairos, the Overlord be praised. When I heard the avalanche, I feared the valley was sealed with you on the other side. We were told Fatebinder was coming. Conversations... Yeah. Wait, what? Alright, let's go lore. 16 lore skill experience. Your senses see more than mine, good Fatebinder. I do not pretend to know much about such things, but if that was Kairos' magic and you're here in important business, well, you don't have to be the Archon of Secrets to guess that you're here to proclaim an edict. What does Kairos have in store for the enemy? 10 years of festering plague? An edict of twisted bones? I am in a hurry to deliver a message. The Archons, Claire silently, come bearing an edict of Kairos. Our soldiers will complete their task or die. The edict is leveled against us. Her eyes widen with fear, her posture slackens, but the Scarlet Chorus prevents us from taking action. Why would the Overlord punish the wolf? She clears her throat with a sigh. Forgive me. It is not my place to question. We should have conquered the enemy within weeks of arriving in the valley. The delay reflects poorly on all of us. Yes, well, your eyes. Okay. Should not cast blame so freely, especially not when taking certain justice. My apologies. You travel a long way. I won't keep you further. I'm sure that our accountants will want to hear from you. Voice falls silent. Okay. Now I gotta fight this guy. Help better.
Will do.
How do I attack?
Sorry, can't.
Oh, it was paused, that's why. Here. It's not quite turn-based, it's more like... I don't know. Fatebinder talent points, okay.
Can't do that.
It's got a whetstone and a potion of protection. It should be vigilant and deal with the remaining Oathbreakers in the past. Okay. Sweet secret. Sweet secret.
Heads up, we have company. Can't do that. Can't do that. Sorry, can't.
Why? Why can't I?
Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Okay.
Sorry, can't. Sorry, can't. Can't do that. Can't do that.
Why can't I?
Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that. I got it.
There we go. Let that guy on fire. I did it. Javelin.
On it.
Can I search this guy's body?
Can't do that.
Okay, so where am I supposed to go from here? Beneath this body, I have a mushroom of some sort. Mushroom. Oh god.
For me. Try and catch me, worm.
Verse. A young Scarlet Fury weaves around the Vendrian Guard, tanks floating their weapons with fluid grace. She nods to acknowledge you. Breathless enemy soldier passes a glance to her countryman. This one's crazy too, much lead in her water. We should cut our losses and turn back.
Fate finder. Here at last.
Join the battle.
Trouble is afoot. Will do. I got it. Will do.
Who's this? Blood soaked stone?
Sorry. Sorry, Kent.
Kill them all.
Phew. I can tell you didn't spend the conquest in a diplomat's tent. I'm Verse, by the way. But there are more important things to take care of than introductions. Those Vendrian Guard we killed didn't come up. A Scarlet Fury. Most of the voices of Nerat called him. My god. The voices of you're due for a meeting with the eager. If they deserved my praise, they'd be standing here taking orders. For the voices!
Oh.
I got it.
Okay. Oh shit, there's a bunch of them. Eyes forward, no looking back. Vendrian Guard warrior roars with his falc's head high, his words largely lost over the din of combat. You. As his attention lands on you, a double take of recognition comes in its face. Peaceminder from the war. If you come once again to talk peace, you're late. Drop your weapon and perhaps you can settle this here. Oh, alright. Mocking Blaze. Run down the Oathbreakers, let none escape. From the red mob of reinforcements from the south, Blood Chanter emerges at the head of the rabble, an ornamental crest of her staff pulsing with crimson tones. Cool.
Look at...
Ow. Gotcha, bitch.
Right.
Bleed out, you little shit.
Person runner, come quick. I don't know if I'm really digging this game so much. It's kind of an alright game, but that's kind of the extent of it. It's not all that exciting. Oh, there's a bunch of people already. Hello? Yeah, I don't know. I think I've played this game enough to know I don't really... Take a breath. I just don't want to read. Like, it's a fuck ton of text to read. I don't think I really. One thing, I don't want to read that much to follow this, you know, in-depth story.
Can't do that.
Like, I wish games like this would. I don't have the. I can't climb up there.
Sorry, can't.
I don't know. This game just seems really slow-paced. I can treat. Yeah, I don't know. I've played enough RPGs, and I don't think I really want to play this one. So yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I'm gonna start up a new stream, play something else. Something, I don't know, maybe you guys will enjoy more. Maybe we'll get more viewers. So yeah, come back in just a little bit, and I will see you there. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.